They enjoy the stagecoach ride as much as I do, or as much as anybody, but science has names for a lot of things that are wrong with them. But when they show up on the ranch, they all look alike, they all act alike, regardless of their condition.
My birthplace was Darnell, Arkansas, June 25th, 1914. And my father was a farmer, a 10-acre garden. There was 9 of us kids, and not one of us kids that I ever heard of were ever in trouble with the police, but we were always taught respect for our elders, respect for the law.
Johnny Carpenter almost lost his life in the early 40s. An automobile accident fractured his skull, shattered a leg, and left his back broken in several places. But he overcame all that and went on to become a successful movie stuntman and horse handler. Carpenter has held an additional occupation for more than 30 years now, helping children overcome their own physical difficulties. He built his Heaven on Earth ranch for handicapped children with little more than a hammer and saw. It's a complete western town where small miracles happen every day.
Some blind boys came to see me. They wanted to ride a horse. I said, oh boy, I got 75 thoroughbred horses here and they want to ride a horse and they're blind. So they came 3 weeks in a row. And at the time they got there the 3rd week, I had 4 or 5 old horses there that were so old and so slow, it took 1 man to lead them, and 2 men to push the horse to make him go. I was going to be sure no blind boy got hurt. So they got on these horses, started kicking and yelling, get up, and the horses weren't going anywhere except just walk. And then they said, hey, Pops, what's the matter with you? You think because we're blind we can't ride or something? I said, no.
This young man 3 years ago couldn't walk. He now even tries to talk. And now he tries to talk, he tries to walk, he tries to climb out of his wheelchair. And he rides this horse in the figure 8, but he is an exception.
Go to the right, go over there where the other horses are. Go to your right.
I do it because they want to come and see me. I do it because they hug my neck. I guess I do it because I like it.
Give me a big kiss. Give me a big kiss. Give me a big kiss. Yeah, give me a kiss. Come on, that's what you want. Somebody that loves you, that's right. You want somebody that loves you, don't you? Yes, you do.
Nobody's going to hurt you, sweetheart. Come on now. Let's take a little ride and show the other kids, and we'll go back and have lunch, okay?
Carpenter pays for most of this out of his own pocket. The several thousand children who come here every year don't pay a dime. Carpenter makes no secret of his philosophy. The service we render to others is really the rent we pay for our room on this earth.
Yeah, that girl. Okay, sweetheart. Let's go have lunch now. That's enough hugging and kissing.
It's been listed with the federal government for almost 25 years now as a non-profit corporation, but I never have solicited in my life. It's against my personal philosophy to solicit, and very few people have offered to help. I think they must think I'm a millionaire or something. So, but I plan to keep the ranch into perpetuity, or try to keep it in focus to where some large multi-billion-dollar corporation will see fit to see that such a ranch goes into perpetuity. The children like it because it's real. Everything about it is real. No fantasy. It isn't fantasy land of any kind. Everything about it is totally real, And most of the guys that work with me to help me, the cowboys I've known in the movies that work for me, they help, and they look real, and they act real, and they're very kind to children. And I can't hardly get the kids to get in the bus and go home. So it's kind of a beautiful thing.
An old cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day.
Now I put roses on the table and try to make the place look nice when the first busload of kids arrive each morning.
When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw, a-plowing through the ragged sky, and up the cloudy draw.
This teacher never ceases to do a number on us when she arrives. She sees the camera crew and she always says, "You guys remember, I'm the star of this show." Now the mules look up and chuckle. The mule team takes a look at this and says, "When will that woman ever learn the kids are the star of this show? Else we wouldn't even be here."
I don't beg them to come, but it always makes me happy when I see them coming. And if I made up some kind of a story about why I do it, then I'd be a fiction writer, like a screenplay fiction writer. I don't know why I do it. I just do it, and I love doing it. I'm very sad when a week goes by and I don't get some kind of a reservation call from the schools.
This little school teacher you see dancing, and this darling little boy you see enjoying himself completely, spoke his first words on the ranch. He's a little retarded boy that never said a word in his life until he came to the ranch. The atmosphere of the ranch causes him to speak his first words. My philosophy for the last 40 years has never changed. You can see that each child is tied securely in the saddle, and over 1 million children have ridden this way, and we've never had one accident.
My father treated us in such a manner that I have been able to convey it to the children that come to see me at the ranch, because there was never a kinder nor sweeter man that ever lived than my father. It would be impossible to be any kinder or any sweeter. But also, he stood for no nonsense. He was full of integrity, compassion, character, and honesty. And those are things that you can't buy with money. You either born with them or you acquire them as you're growing up. And if you don't acquire them, no matter how much money you have, you're in trouble. Money absolutely means nothing.
Probably the most important thing to these children is meeting a real cowboy. A cowboy who pays no attention to their physical problems. All he has to offer is compassion and love.
It has been my privilege and pleasure for 40 years to shoe horses, saddle horses, and harness the teams for handicapped children.
The way I was born and raised, I was taught humility, conduct, pay tribute to my mother and father, and be polite to my elders, and never, never be impolite to a school teacher.
This is from one of the larger schools in the city of Los Angeles, the Meridian Children's Center. They have about 400 children, I think, in that school.
As I was out walking one morning for pleasure, I spied a cowpuncher riding.
I don't think I've ever seen one unhappy child in my life.
And his spurs were jingling, and as he approached,
Being very fortunate, I meet all the happy people and all the happy children. Maybe they simply get happy like this child when they come to the ranch. They become so ecstatically happy they almost jump out of their wheelchair. Here's a little child from the Jeffrey Foundation. He says, in a moment he will say, hey, read my lips.
the horses load up the chuck wagon, then throw the doggies out on.
I want to play cowboy. You know, wheelchairs are no more unusual than children that walk. I told this little kid if he didn't give me a kiss, I wouldn't put him down. So he gave me one.
We'll fill you up on prickly pear choya till you are ready for Idaho.
You know, you really haven't lived until you feel the elation that comes with joy and happiness. Age has nothing to do with it. You could be 2 years old or 72 years old, and you come to a Thanksgiving party at the ranch, and you couldn't even tell there was anything wrong with the kids. Petting the horses, feeding carrots to the animals, shrine clowns blowing balloons, volunteer ladies forming teepees. This is the type of environment that never fails to enchant the children. There's one thing about a preschool child or a 5-year-old child. You might think you can, but you cannot fool this child. If he doesn't like you, he won't even come near you. He won't even hug your neck. You can't even pay him to come and hug your neck. But if they really love you, they'll come and run and hug you, and money has nothing to do with it. You cannot buy that love and fervor. And that comes from grown people that you know, and especially, well, a lot of times you can fool grown people if you're a salesman of some kind. You can fool a grown person, but the grown person that you fool happens to be a naive, honest person that's a believer, and he wants to believe what you're saying, so you fool him. But you can't fool a child. And on Thanksgiving and Christmas or any other day I have a party, they come in multitudes. It's a joy to the mothers and the fathers and the caterers, and of course myself, to see them eat and enjoy life. You know, Thanksgiving is a day that we should all be more than thankful for, especially in this country. But on top of that, we should be thankful for every day. We should be as thankful for all the other days as we are on Thanksgiving, and just apply your entire life that way, and things seem to turn out very well. See, I've been blessed. I have been blessed with meeting the nicest people in the world. God has placed those people before me in such a manner that when I met them and made some kind of a working arrangement with them, they turned out to be devout, religious person, whether it was a Jewish person, a Catholic person, or whatever it is I am, a Protestant or something. They're all devout, honest people.
I feel like I'm the most fortunate man in the world to have such good friends. You see the jet helicopter coming in. The men in it have parties for me each year, and they are known as the Stuntmen's Association of Motion Pictures. Each year they have a Christmas party for me, and every Christmas morning they bring a whole van load of toys over to the ranch for the children. Each year they say they will have a party for their favorite charity, Johnny Carpenter's Heaven on Earth Ranch for Handicapped Children. And the admission to that party is a present for a handicapped child. So I don't know how life could be much more beautiful than that. And for the life of me, I have a great compulsion to either put my hands on or hug and kiss every child, regardless of his age, that comes to that ranch. I have to hug and kiss each one of them on a personal basis.
The last 40 or 50 years, I've catered to probably at least 1.5 million children, Head Start children, preschool children, pre-kindergarten, and handicapped kids, and have never received 1 penny from the city, county, state, or federal government. God has been so good to me, he has allowed me to be able to do this without ever having one complaint placed against me. And then somebody wanted to build a golf course up here in Dahunga Wash, where I've been for the last 30 years, and they bulldozed down my town. They bulldozed down the front street of my town without giving me any notice. They said they gave me notice, but if they ever did, I didn't know it. And after being there 30 years, but I think they wanted to build a golf course. But the thought occurred to me, what in the name of heaven would somebody want with a golf course in Dahunga Wash? They certainly haven't been here long enough to see the floods that come down that river. I saw floods come down that river so big that they washed caskets off of the graveyards up in Dahunga, down onto Foothill Boulevard, and huge trees come floating down the river and took out one of the concrete bridges. And about once every 20 years, we have a flood like that, but other than that, it's a natural resource made by nature, made by God, as a place for water flow, and I don't think that people like me or you or anybody else has any right to try to change the channel, a river channel, a creek channel, or what have you. Nature made it that way, and that's the way it should stay. The privilege of living, I think that we should just thank God for allowing us the privilege of living. Not that we have a right to live, he has allowed us the privilege of living. I'm not a Bible shouter. I don't even if what I said makes sense, but it seems like it makes some kind of sense to me.